And we are live. Yes, finally. We had some technical issues, but now everything is working and we are here. And I hope you join us for this amazing interview. This is Creativity in Focus, a live podcast where we talk about art, artists, and their art. Every week we have an amazing person here with us. And today is no different. We have Aleah Klay. But before we start the interview, a few things that you can do. You would help us a lot if right at the beginning you could leave a comment on this video. For example, I would like to know where you're from, where in the world you are. And if you want to interact at any point in time, this is an interactive podcast. So you can put in the comments questions that you might have, suggestions, or your opinion about the interview, because then I get here and I can ask our artists. The other thing you could do would be to share this interview. This is a content-only interview. Nobody's going to sell anything, so it's safe to post on groups and other places. People actually will love, because I know this artist has a huge fan base that loves her work, and I bet they want to know more about her. Okay, so a few things. I'm going to open the video on my side right now, so in any point in time that you interact with us, we can interact with you back. Isn't that great? Okay, so my artist today is Aleah Klay. Welcome, Aleah.
Hi. Good to be here.
So you're in Florida right now.
Yeah. Satellite Beach, Florida. We just had the rocket.
Oh,
the,
cool.
SpaceX went up.
What's the weather there today?
Very nice.
Very nice. Good.
I'm reluctant to say everybody else, they're cold, but it's good out.
It's pretty good there
today.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So you have an interesting story. So you were born in California, correct?
Yes.
Then you lived in Switzerland.
Well, for a short time. I was only like 4 when we moved back to the States. So, I like to say it's.
Where in Utah? Oh, really? Mm-hmm. And how long did you live here? Uh-huh. Okay. And now you live in Florida. Yeah. And well, let me show everyone some of your work, and you can comment when you see the picture. We basically would like to know, when you sculpt that specific piece, what was your inspiration, okay? Okay, so here's the first one.
Oh, that was, I just saw this, well, sometimes I work because I want to try and find a challenge. And in this case, the challenge was making the basket. The basket was, I'd never done, it's actually woven embroidery floss. So it's done similar to a real basket, but the base is clay, and then the embroidery floss is woven through it. And the cat, it's hard to try and get things to look realistic. So sometimes I will just try to get I will just try to sculpt based on images of animals. But okay, this piece, this one I really love. It was I try to work seasonally too, and so this was for Halloween, and I was trying to think of a new way to bring that old, like that wagon and pumpkins kind of ideas. This was a traveling pumpkin seller, but she was traveling in a moonboat. And her little mouse up ahead is like directing her.
And this one more, yeah.
These guys actually, I was at a restaurant and I saw a grandma come in with, I think she was their grandma, these cute little twin girls, and I was inspired by the attitude and the cuteness. They were just the kindest little girls, and so it was actually these twin girls that inspired this piece.
That's very pretty. Now, how did you get involved with arts? Did you start sculpting right away? What was the process?
It was a very long process.
Oh.
Time that I thought, well, maybe it's possible to sculpt that small, and that was really the beginning. But from there, the internet kind of took off, and I learned about art dolls and teddy bears and miniatures, and my work is kind of a mix of all of that.
It's interesting because the game toys or sculptures, they're really, really tiny and skinny. I've seen some. So you started in that path from the beginning, not from a bigger sculpture, but from a minuscule one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I did do some larger pieces, but that was I really started on trying to do miniatures, and I'd always just I'd do the larger things, and then I'd always go back to
there.
The miniatures. Yeah, I just love them. I don't know. There's something magical about this tiny little world that you can look at and create, and I know that collectors.
What attracts you to the miniatures? What do you think is the most fascinating part of it?
The challenge.
The challenge.
Yeah, it's not. I had to make up my own techniques and sometimes even my own tools, and it wasn't. I couldn't go out and just buy a book on how to make what they are now. I mean, they exist because I have a lot of books from a lot of different artists, and all their techniques, I kind of adapted them, found ways to adapt them, and made my own thing out of it.
What do you use to sculpt the clay?
Well, I use mostly an upholstery needle. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but a tiny little upholstery needle, and then just some X-Acto knives and the end of a tool, a paintbrush, a little paintbrush. Mostly, it's very basic. Those are the things that I always use. But then there's other little tools that sometimes come into play.
And do you use mostly polymer clay or another type of clay?
Mostly polymer clay, yes. I have tried paper clay, but mostly polymer.
Okay.
I like to use the color. I like to blend the different colors of them.
Uh-huh. Now, I have to ask this because that's the part I'm most curious about. Do you work with magnifying glasses or naked eye? How does it go?
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
Well, I have a pair of reading glasses that sometimes I put on, but most of the time I forget to put them on. They work out well when I use them. But and I would recommend that for anyone who wants to start miniatures. Yeah, I would recommend reading glasses at least, if not a complete visor. But I most of the time I don't use it.
Okay.
Probably will eventually use it more and more as I get older, I'm sure. But
Well,
for
that's
the
quite
most part,
impressive because there is so much detail in what you do. I thought you were working with a huge magnifying glass.
not yet.
No, not yet. I know. Cindy DeGraw is saying, greetings from Kansas. Nan Gaw is saying, isn't she teaching the Minnie Mouse class? Yes, she is in May. Katya, any chance to have Aleah, again, the same thing. Everybody wants you. So that's okay. She will be at Curious Mondo at the end of May. Now, Aleah, let me show a few more pieces of what you do. And I would love your comments on the piece.
Oh, this one. This was a big challenge. I got the inspiration for this piece, and I'm sure a lot of you know already, but it was from looking at Renaissance paintings. And, you know, there were always, there's so many that were like little girls collecting flowers or adults selling flowers. She was a flower seller. And some of the challenge with her was, well, the costume. Particularly, and trying to make the colors kind of match the painting that I was really this one the little teddy bear collect, that was just I don't know, the idea, it was, what do you do with your favorite things that you want them around you all the time? And this was like, how can a teddy bear keep his favorite things with him all the time? What would they be? And I thought it would be, of course, it'd be teddy bears. It'd be more teddy bears. Who doesn't love little teddy bears?
So then he would collect them around and under the head. So can we go back to the previous picture, please? Let me know, you told me that was a challenge because, especially the painting, right? The flair of the Renaissance. What type of paint do you use in a sculpture like this?
Oh, it's just, well, it's a mix. So sometimes it's chalk pastels, and that'll be for both the clay and some of the fur details, but then it will usually start with some chalk pastels, and then it'll be more detail added with just acrylic paints, and you know, like dry brushed acrylic paint, so for the fur, and then just really watered down for the rest of for the clay, on the clay.
That's very cool. Let's see one more picture. This is so cute.
Sometimes I do pieces that just are very, like, that kind of want that a child has when they see something that they love, like a favorite toy or a candy, and I'm always trying to bring a warmth into my work. You're never going to see anything really mean-spirited. The worst that I would ever do is, I have a line that comes out that I usually make a few on in October for Halloween. And it's the little monsters. They're basically like the mice, except they don't quite know how to handle things correctly. So a monster would be holding their teddy bear in the wrong way. He's meaning well, but he's just kind of not quite there. Kind of awkward with them.
Okay. And why mice, Aleah?
It actually has nothing to do with mice. It's more to do with loving. I love character dolls, I love teddy bears, and I love miniatures. So mice are a way to make all of that into one, because they're the only animal that has hands that can look like people, even though, you know, if you see them in reality, they don't hold their hands like people do, obviously, but it's not a far-fetched idea in our minds to be able to do that. So really, it's the combination. It's the love of all of those aspects of doll collecting that is all. It's just all rolled into one.
Mm-hmm. So Precious is saying, unbelievable how much detail she can put in such a tiny piece. What an artist. And Sandy Ward is saying, wow, amazing details. How long does, yeah, how long does it take you to go from beginning to end with a piece?
I'm pretty quick. I've been slower since I've been ill, but between 6 and 16 hours, around there. Not too bad. It does get tedious. Adding the little fur gets a little tedious, but I like to listen to books, and that helps. So
while you work, right?
Yeah. Yeah, especially on the furring, adding the little bits. Yeah.
Yeah, because you, after the clay, you also do some flocking on that, right?
Flocking, yeah. Okay. I couldn't quite hear right, but yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have questions for Aleah, don't forget to send in the comments so we can ask her, or else I'll just keep talking to her, because I think your work is really superb. I love the details on that. What inspires you a creation?
That is always, it's always changing. It can come from looking up images or just sitting around at a restaurant watching people. And some of what I do is also, if I have a harder time finding ideas, I do things like word association, where you just start writing words down and piece a bunch of words together and come up with an emotion for the piece. And usually I'll start with like a feeling or an emotion, and then I can either act out. If I don't still have a complete idea, I actually set up a camera and just start acting out anything, and then after I've got the emotion of what I want to do, it'll go on to like looking for ideas for a costume, and it just builds up over that, and eventually it starts as it'll go to a sketch, and then to actually beginning the sculpture.
So you have an interesting process. So you first look for an emotion, and then from that you're going to create the story of that character, and not something like, okay, I'm going to make a mouse today, and it's going to be sitting on a bench. You go for the emotion first.
Yes, I try to. Yeah. Well, lately I try to do. I have done some where it's just a mouse sitting on a bench, but that was not so much the process anymore. We just evolve over the years as artists.
Penny Platt is asking, what materials? What materials will I need? We'll
more storytelling elements.
Your voice is fading a little bit. So you sell your pieces, correct? Can you hear me? Aleah?
Yes. Yeah, I sell them on my blog, or sometimes mostly on my own blog.
So you promote on your, the sound is going off and on your side. So I'm just going to repeat, and you tell me if I'm saying right. You can hear me, yeah, but your voice was going off. So you were saying that mostly you promote on your blog, correct?
Oh.
Yeah, it's fading again.
Promotion on Facebook too, but selling on my.
When did you start selling? Since the beginning, or how was the process for you?
I started to sell them. I was about 19, and I started on eBay. And they were not good at all. They were horrible pieces. Sometimes they wouldn't sell at all, and sometimes I'd get maybe $5. They were really bad to begin with. Yeah, but it was a process, and I learned through that process. So
how long have you been selling pieces?
About 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So you went from $5 to how much?
On my blog, they're usually between $250 and $350.
Okay.
Now.
And do you still use eBay?
Higher. Yeah, sometimes I go higher on auctions. Yeah, but usually around there, $350. Yeah.
Okay. Sandy Ward is asking, Aleah, do you create a storyline and then create the individual pieces besides the emotion?
No, I start with an emotion, but I do tell stories while I'm working on them. I would tell stories about the character, and a lot of, like the last time I had, she was a piece, the mouse was holding up a photo of her husband or boyfriend, someone she was looking for, someone she loved that she was looking for, and she was dragging a suitcase behind her. And the story behind that, the stories that I came up with were what happened to who she's looking for, who is he? And I thought, well, maybe he's her husband, and what happened to him? Maybe they're both captains of some ship, and pirates kidnapped him, and he breaks free eventually, and maybe he went off with like another woman, and she's always going to be missing him. But so there were different stories. It wasn't one thing, but it's always starting with an emotion.
So
and then
always
from
some
there,
type of
it can go anywhere.
Yeah. Let's see a few more pictures, okay?
Collectors are free to make up the stories too. That's part of why I love making them.
And the next one?
Not emotion, but okay. Yeah, this was just to welcome in 2018. This is the first piece of 2018.
Oh, the first one is here.
The dragon, really, the dragon, okay. This is hoping for spring, really. Winter coat with ladybugs.
That's very cute. And this one?
You kind of froze on me a bit.
Okay. I'm showing a mouse that is holding, I believe it's a stamp or a small frame.
You're kind of getting a little choppy on this side. This was a puppy love. This is frustrating because the puppy is getting all the attention right now. That was.
So, do you participate in shows?
Not with her lost love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little picture frame. It's a white version of an earlier piece. Yeah, little picture frame. Those are the ones that kidnapped. I've only done things. I haven't been, but I really want to. I want that side.
She's awesome. I love this, but I lost the sound again. Let's see if we get her back. For me, it's unbelievable, guys, why we try to fix this is this amount of detail. Look at this, the picture that we just saw. Can we put it back? The one with the chicks. You see that you have an inch, less than an inch and a half. It's unbelievable, the amount of detail. I cannot even I would need not only huge magnifying glasses, but the hands and the tools, they have to be so precise in this scale. I actually think it's more difficult sometimes to do something so small than any other size. Okay, let me see. Do we have you there, Aleah?
I'm here.
Okay, we lost the sound. I have a question from Cindy. Is the entire piece sculpted, or is there fabric and flowers in the embellishments?
It's all sculpted, and then it is flocked over the sculpture. The flowers are sculpted. There's no, I can never find things small enough to implement with the sculpture. So anytime you see like something added, like that basket with the cat, or the flowers with the flowers, it's always sculpted or created. It never, I can never find things to buy.
The scale.
No.
And when you're sculpting, do you actually, are you true to a specific scale, or you just start sculpting and whatever comes out, you know it's going to be about an inch and that's enough?
No, I follow, I'm true to my own scale. I follow a sketch of that is all, they're all based on a basic sketch of one drawing I did here. So it's not a particular scale for miniatures, but it is scaled. They all fit in with each other.
Okay. Do you use any fabric at all when you're creating the costumes, or are they all clay? I think we have a delay going on. Let's show the next one because it's such a cute little picture.
It's all clay except the fur or when you see, like, when it looks like there's fabric, it's flocked.
Mm-hmm. And then the dress is clay. Okay, I have one more to show. Can you tell us the story of this little girl? Can you see? Well, guys, as you can see, we are having some connection issues, right?
There's not much of a story with this one. It's just it fits in with a category of I can see. Mm-hmm. It's usually like an in I like to define.
That's very cool. Those pieces are amazing. Do you take part in trade shows? Or bazaars or any kind of show?
You're chopping up over it.
Yeah. Let's do this. We have some
I haven't
connection
yet.
problem.
No.
Okay.
Just online.
Okay. So we have some issues with the connection, and I don't know I don't know the reason for that, but it can be weather or something like that. But I want to thank you very much for being here, and we are going to schedule another one where we can make sure that we have the sound right. But as you guys know, she is coming to Utah. Have you been to Utah many times after you moved?
No, this will be the first time.
Oh, so yeah, I need to take you around a little bit. So she'll be here in Utah teaching how to sculpt a Minnie Mouse at the last week of May. And we have on Curious Mondo already the page for you to sign up. And as you all know, you can watch the live. So I want to thank you very much, but I'm going to show one more picture before we go so people can get inspired and get their stories going before the course. How long ago did you sculpt this one?
That was the latest one. Yeah, and this was two sisters. This again goes back to the flower seller theme. These are two sisters, and the older one is a little bit annoyed at the younger one. I have. Oh, and this piece. Yeah, this is one of the moth riders. I just love to do the moth riders. So she's about to lose her hat. She's got to hang on to it. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. There wasn't much more. Yeah, another moth rider. This film was a while ago. I just want, it was the bee themed hat that I loved about this piece.
And the moths are also sculpting polymer clay?
His attitude.
That's very pretty. Well,
yeah, the moths are, and their wings are, they start as, oh, thank you.
No, finish the story. I would love to hear. We have a huge delay. It looks like she's in the other side of the world.
I can't, you keep cutting out, so I can't tell.
Yeah, that's okay. Aleah, I want to thank you very, very much for being here. And I'm really looking forward for taking you around in Utah again in May. And we are going to have an amazing time together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for being here and for your participation. Of course, as you know, this one stays on Facebook, so you can watch as many times as you want, as well as let other people know.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. And I'll see you back here next Tuesday again.
I've been watching.
Yeah. I'll see you next Tuesday again. We have an amazing polymer clay artist to interview next week. So be sure to tune in. We do plan to be live every Tuesday at 2:30, but sometimes we do face issues because we are dealing with a lot of technology to be able to do these interviews. But I hope to see you back here again next Tuesday. Thank you so much.